Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from ZurGrinoSports here, coming at you with the February 1st, 2021 edition of Raw Review. Quickly before we get into the review, if you would like to support me and the channel, you can do so over at Patreon. First link in the description, and if not, that's a-okay. Be sure to let me know what you thought of the show down below in the comments, and at the end of the review, if you liked what I said, maybe leave a like and subscribe, let's get into the review. Raw was actually decent this week, which was a pleasant surprise after months of it being shit overall, and especially after the garbage SmackDown that was the go home for the Rumble. Last week, just all across the board for main roster programming, it wasn't great. So it was a nice surprised to see that Raw was actually good this week. It was decent, you know what I'm saying? We started off with a Drew promo, starting off the whole, officially on the road to WrestleMania thing. He talked about his match with Goldberg, how, they beat the shit out of each other. He earned Goldberg's respect, and Goldberg earned his. He put over the whole pay-per-view tag team title match, amazing. Women's title match, amazing. Women's Rumble, amazing. He put over Bianca Belair big time. He specifically mentioned her as the Rumble winner for the Women's Rumble and all that stuff. Has everything to be a star in the ring and out of the ring, so that was nice to see. Last man standing match, amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets to the Men's Rumble, and then he gets interrupted by Edge. Before Edge can say anything, Drew talks about their history, how, when he first got here, Edge was always looking out for him as a champion and stuff like that. And pretty much just recalls how much Edge's mentorship and leadership kind of meant so much to him in his earlier career. And then he talks back about last year's Rumble, how he was being choked out in the corner by AJ Styles when Edge's music hit over the speakers. And then when he got injured against Randy again, he thought, that was it. He wasn't going to come back, stuff like that. Edge appreciates the compliments, but he says, "What's wrong with you? I won the Rumble. You should know yourself since you won it last year. I'm an immediate and viable threat." Instead of kicking my head off when I got in here, you were complimenting me, to which Drew responds with, "That might be what an opportunist would do, but that's not the kind of champion I am." Then Sheamus comes out. He says congratulations to Edge, but he says, "Who are you to question Drew? This man carried the company through uncharted waters, this and that. He may let you disrespect him, but I won't." Drew's like, "Hold on, Sheamus, I got this." And then asks Edge if he'll make his decision or if Drew will have to make the decision for him. And Edge says that he'll know when he makes the decision. But he's got a target on his back. He's playing a dangerous game. He looks at Sheamus. Sheamus like, "Why are you looking at me for?" And he says, "Regardless of the decision I make, whoever I face, I will walk out of Mania with the championship," kind of thing. Edge goes up the ramp. Drew goes to the edge of the ring to hold up his championship up the ramp to Edge. Turns around into a brogue kick from Sheamus. They finally pulled the trigger. Then we went to commercial. We came back from commercial with Sheamus backstage walking. And then the interviewer pulls him aside. Everybody knows, wondering why he did what he did, stuff like that. And he says, "Everybody knows me as Drew's friend. Drew is no longer my friend. He wants the WWE title." And then he gets Gulak to give him his bags. And then he goes off camera. I don't know if maybe, why is Gulak giving him his bags? Are they going to align Gulak with Sheamus, or were they just like, "Hey, Gulak, go give him his bags for the meme"? I don't really understand why Gulak was there, but because if it's maybe aligning him with Sheamus and then they elevate him through Sheamus, long term, that'd be good. But it's WWE and it's Raw, so that's maybe hopelessly optimistic. Joe justified it on commentary, which I liked, because Byron was like, oh, he's willing to throw all that away for the WWE Championship. And then Joe's like, yes, because it is the WWE Championship. It's the whole reason they're all there. So I like that from Joe, justifying it, putting over the title and being like, yeah, it's worth breaking friendships for. It's the most coveted thing in this industry. Then we had Lashley versus Riddle for the United States Championship. The match was okay. It wasn't too long before the finish, which was a disqualification finish after Lashley put the Hurt Lock onto Riddle with him tied up in the ropes, but he didn't break it before the 5 count. Bell rings for the DQ. Riddle taps afterwards, which I don't really see the need for, but fair enough. Then Lashley locks it in again outside with MVP telling him to chill, like, you beat him, you beat the man, you're not going to beat the court. And he was saying stuff like, I don't want you to kill the man or something, you're going to kill him, kind of thing. Then Lashley intensely stares down MVP after breaking up the Hurt Lock, and then puts it in one more time, and then throws Riddle over the barricade into the quote-unquote crowd. And then he was looking pissed off before he went up the ramp to end the segment. Commentary were putting over that he was so upset because he got eliminated from the Rumble. They are doing Lashley very well, you know what I mean? Some people might be upset about a DQ finish in the title match. It put Lashley over huge. It put Lashley over more so than he's been put over, having him achieve this next level of animosity and intensity and anger and stuff like that is good for Lashley, because that is what the best Lashley is. I'll say it over and over, but his like walking Armageddon, walking Apocalypse, whatever you want to call it, gimmick that he had in TNA in like 2014, 2015 era was just insane. He was just there to kill people and win matches, and it was so good because he was putting on great matches. And then, you know, like, he was aligned with MVP then as well in the Beatdown Clan. It was him, Joe, and Kenny King with MVP. So Beatdown Clan was pretty good. It was kind of maybe the prototype to the Hurt Business, I would say. In a sense that MVP took guys that were being underutilized and then highlighted their strengths and stuff like that and elevated them. Then, before the commercial, we had a Bugatti pull up with the camera being zoomed in on the hood of the car. Camera pans around to show Bad Bunny stepping out of the car before the commercial. We come back from commercial to Riddle being attended to in the crowd area by the referees, and he says, where am I? They're like, you just had a match? He's like, yeah, but who was I wrestling? And they said Lashley, and then he tried to get in the ring, and they were like, no, calm down. So they really put over the extent of the damage that Lashley did to Riddle by showing that little brief segment. We had a Randy backstage promo where he said that he didn't think Edge would ever return, and then he entered the Rumble and returned at the Rumble and won, and he says, congratulations, like, I do mean it, but there's a problem because I said that Edge would never come back, and Edge made him a liar, pretty much. And he said he made him a liar after everything I've done for you. He said that he injured him and sent him back home so he could be a father, he could be a husband and all that stuff, and he did everything he did to him because he loved him like a brother. And Randy pretty much said he won't let Edge main event Mania. We had a Kofi and Xavier Woods backstage segment. Woods said that he was in a best of 5 with Retribution, so, you know, making a mockery out of 50-50 booking, gotta love it. Kofi says that Ali lost his mind, saying that Kofi's spot was his spot, but tonight's not about that. Tonight is about Woods getting revenge or payback, and tonight he has Woods back. We had a earlier from today promo with Ali, where he said welcome back to Raw to Kofi, and he invites him to join them at ringside as he tortures and breaks Woods. They did this thing where he was cutting the promo and the rest of Retribution were in the background grunting and stuff. Whoever was in charge of the audio for that promo fucked up. The grunting from them in the background was too loud, so either Ali's mic was too quiet or they were or it would have just been his mic being too quiet, probably. Or the way they just set it up in the room that they did it in, whatever. You could barely hear Ali because of how loud they were in the background. But we had Ali versus Woods. Ali and Kofi were kind of beefing throughout the match. T-Bar broke up a pin, which probably should have caused a disqualification, but it is what it is. Kofi goes up the steps, launches off of T-Bar's shoulders, and kind of like crossbodies a little bit slapjack. They go around. Ali tries to roll up Woods. Woods reverses it into a pin, which was clean. And by clean, I mean it looked nice. It was fluid, not clean as in the wrestling term. Clean as in the colloquial, pop culture term, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to. You know what I mean. And he won. And then Woods was going up the ramp saying how it's 2-2. And then afterwards on social medias, he was saying how he wants Reckoning in a match to make it, best of 5. This was maybe the first thing tonight that I didn't like because it doesn't make sense that the leader is the one that the leader is the one that Woods beats. You know what I mean? I know Kofi's back, but like, if Ali is meant to be this, really intelligent leader who's really cynical to how things are in the world and in the company, why would these distractions hinder him as much as they do? Why would he be so easily rolled up after his own roll up? It doesn't make Ali look good at all. And I get you're building for Kofi and Woods, but just have something else happen. You know what I mean? You don't need to have Woods get a win over Ali. Ali should be winning. You need to make Ali look strong. You need to protect Ali. Woods doesn't need singles victories. He's not a singles guy. He's a tag team guy. You know what I mean? Are you going to break up New Day completely and have Woods go on a singles run? I'm sorry, I love Woods, but the guy's going to flounder in the lower mid card. It's just going to happen. He doesn't need singles wins. You know what I mean? It's just not. It wasn't necessary. This was the first thing of the night that I didn't really like. So that was unfortunate. I didn't skip a page, did I? Did they have Bad Bunny show up and then not? Okay, no. I'm recording this the morning after because I wasn't able to write afterwards because people in the house were sleeping. They had a Bad Bunny and Priest backstage segment where they showed them talking backstage. It wasn't really a promo. They were just talking to each other. Camera was on them. You could overhear what they were saying. They were speaking in Spanish, though, so I don't know what they were saying. Then they had the Mania promo package play, which showed 68 days away, which was nice. Then they had Miz TV. Once again, they had the wrestlers say, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Miz and Morrison recapped the Rumble. So you're copying Drew's promo pretty much word for word almost at this point, effectively. And they talked about how everything was happening, everything cool happened, but the star of the night was Bad Bunny. He had a spectacular performance, kind of thing, and all of that. They showed a video package, showcasing what happened, his performance, then Miz and Morrison trying to, get him to team up, and then him saying, nah, I'm good, and then breaking the DJ set, elimination by Priest, and then, bada boom, bada bing, the crossbody by Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny comes down, Miz and Morrison want to clear up the misunderstanding. They say that, both parties did things that they regret last night. Miz apologizes. Bad Bunny accepts his apology. Miz is like, anything you want to say? You don't want to apologize to me? And he's like, no. Miz is like, okay, hold on, let me calm down here. You want to become a wrestler, right? And then Bad Bunny's like, yeah, it's one of my dreams. And then Miz says, well, you've come to the right place. My learning tree is like the best in the business. I can take a B-plus guy like Daniel Bryan and make him a world-renowned superstar. And I would teach you to be a wrestler if you help us record an album. And then Bad Bunny's like, you guys are special, but I'm not interested. Miz and Morrison kind of get really heated. Talking about, do you know who we are, whatever. Bad Bunny's like, relax, guys. I know who you are, but the only reason I'm here is because a good friend wanted to be on Miz TV, which ended up being Damian Priest. He gets in the ring, kind of like daps up Bad Bunny, and then immediately attacks Miz. Morrison cowers away with Miz under the rope, and then we go to commercial. I like this. It was a good way to. It's well, it was a theme throughout the night that they had Bad Bunny and in turn Priest kind of sprinkled in throughout the night. I think that the higher ups really like Damian Priest, which I think I said in my Rumble review or something like that. I thought that he would do well on the main roster. I can't really remember if I did or not, but he has that look that I know Vince would like. He's really good in the ring. He's charismatic. So yeah, I think he might have a good time on the good roster. Wow, on the main roster. But they did a good job of introducing him to new fans because they have him associated with Bad Bunny. So the casual fans are immediately going to be like, oh, I like Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is one of the, most popular music artists in the world right now. I think in 2020 he was the number one artist on Spotify. That guy's associated with Damian Priest. I'm going to immediately be predisposed to like that guy. And then it helps that Priest has a good look about him too, so a casual fan's gonna tune in and they're not gonna be like, oh, this guy's like not got the most athletic build, whatever. This dude's tall, this dude's lean, this dude's jacked, this dude has tattoos, long hair, like he's got the whole look to get over visually. So not only do they introduce him well in terms of having him be associated with Bad Bunny, they end up doing Priest versus Miz. And what ends up happening is a Morrison distraction leads to Miz getting a little bit of offense on Priest. Miz goes over to the corner to grab the Money in the Bank briefcase to cheat with. Bad Bunny, who was at commentary, he wasn't at commentary, he was just sitting at ringside, grabs the briefcase. Morrison comes over. Morrison's like, give it over. He gives the briefcase over, then hits Morrison with the mic, and then Priest ends up getting the win over Miz. Match quality was whatever because it wasn't meant to be like a barn burner match. It was meant to be a introduction for Priest. It was good for what it was. Same with Ali and Woods earlier. It was fairly short, but it was good for what it was. Lashley and Riddle was short, but it was good for what it was. There was one underlying thing that was kind of unfortunate throughout the night, which we'll kind of get to at the end, but you'll probably have an idea of what it is given how the three matches so far that we've had have ended. But Priest got a win, so he gets a win over Miz in his debut on the main roster as my paper crinkles and crackles. Big win on his debut over Miz. Associated with Bad Bunny. They're having a great time introducing him onto the main roster. It would have been nice to have a clean win as well, but just the association to Bad Bunny probably makes up for the fact that it was a shenanigans distraction win. So it is what it is. Then we had Hurt Business versus the Lucha House Party for the Tag Team Championships. MVP was on commentary. They asked him about Lashley. He kind of deflected onto Bad Bunny, but ended up saying like he asked for more from Lashley, and he was surprised when he got it because he had never seen that from Lashley kind of thing. Once again, your weekly reminder from me that Shelton Benjamin is so goddamn good. Cedric was still doing his thing where he would do a little bit of offense, look kind of impressed with himself, and then look to the corner and be like, I got this, and then go for shit. It kind of backfired a little bit, though, because he got hit with something in the face, trying to shoot off the ropes. The match itself was good. There was some pretty good spots and stuff like that. After a pretty fast-paced, I guess, spot in the match, Cedric is setting up for the finish. He's all hyped and shit, with Grand Metalik ready there to be put down. Shelton tags in, hits the pay dirt, 1, 2, 3. They retain the championships. Cedric looks confused and upset, motioning to MVP with his arms out, like, what is this? What is this? And then MVP kind of calms him down. He's like, you guys got the win. You guys got the win. And then he kind of calms down. He's like, yeah, okay, I get you. By shaking his head, you can pick up visually. And then he fist bumps Shelton, and it looks like they, quelled the dissent for now. I like that they still got the win. I like that they didn't lose the titles. and I was genuinely worried that they would lose the titles. I don't have any problem with Lucha House Party getting the tag title match. They've won some tag team matches in recent history. They have a win over Hurt Business already, I'm pretty sure. I think they've been on NXT winning some tag team matches as well. So they've been winning tag team matches, so it makes sense that they got the tag team title opportunity. No problems with that. The match quality was good. The right people won. I still don't like them teasing up the breakup of Hurt Business. For me, Hurt Business should stay together at least until SummerSlam, probably after SummerSlam. And then maybe you could break them up and do them at next year's Mania kind of thing, at Mania in 2022, you know what I mean? Then break them up kind of thing, because they're just so good. They're maybe the best part of Raw, and by maybe I mean probably the best part of Raw when they're booked right. They were a little bit booked shittily the past few weeks with the whole tease of the breakup, because I think it's way too early to break them up. But it looks like they're maybe dialing it back a little bit. Maybe they were trying to tell the story long term, like, hey, these guys have egos. They have egos. Cedric has a huge ego. He's there to prove himself because he's young and these guys are older. He wants to stand out, kind of thing. It almost broke them up, but they're so strong that they, steadied the ship and then carried forward. So hopefully that ends up being what the long-term thing is. You know what I mean? Just tease it and then, have them go back to being good for a long time. Please don't break them up anytime soon. Then we had an Asuka and Charlotte pre-match interview where they were asked about their mindset after last night. Charlotte said that Lacey thinks she knows what she's doing, aligning herself with Rick, but Charlotte knows that she knows what to expect in the ring with her, so she's avoiding her, something like that. Once again, face Charlotte, no bueno promo. But she said that mainly she feels bad that her drama cost them the tag titles last night. Asuka says that she's upset that they lost the titles. Asuka was ready, but, if they didn't interfere, they would still be champions, kind of thing. Asuka showed her speech pattern was kind of like broken and erratic kind of thing. So I think that was meant to show that she was emotional. She was upset about losing the tag team championships, which is good. Your champions should be upset that they lost the titles. I didn't really get that from Charlotte. You know what I mean? Charlotte's whole thing, and I get that they're teasing and they're going to go Asuka and Charlotte against each other, whether it be a Mania or Elimination Chamber, whatever it may be. I get that they're going there. But it's just like, at least have Charlotte pretend to be mad about the titles. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't give a fuck. She was just like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I give a fuck about Lacey. And you know what? I'm just sorry for Asuka. You know what I mean? Be sorry for yourself. You were a champion and now you're not. Like, put over the titles. Make them mean something. If you lose the championship and you don't care, you're devaluing the championship. Again, within kayfabe, a championship means more money. It means more exposure. It means this and that. Why would you not be upset about that? Like, oh, I just feel sorry for my tag partner. Like, okay, do that whole shtick, because yes, you should, if you're a face, feel sorry for your tag partner for losing the match. If your bullshit got the match, decided, but be like, I'm pissed that I'm not tag team champion. I feel sorry that my bullshit caused my tag team partner to no longer be champion. Like, just put over that you are upset too. Don't just do the, sorry friend gimmick. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we had Asuka and Charlotte versus Mandy and Dana versus Naomi and Lana in a number one contenders match. They had a pre-match promo play during the Naomi and Lana entrance where they were like, hey, we're going to team up and win the titles, and I've got your back, you got mine. So pretty much a throwaway promo that wasn't really necessary at all. Shayna and Nia were watching backstage without their titles. Wow, what a way to put them over. You wouldn't even know that they're the fucking champions by just tuning in for the first time. You look at them watching backstage and they don't have anything. They're just two people watching backstage. You're like, oh, what's going on? If they have the tag team titles, you're like, okay, two of the titles that look the same. They're probably tag team champions. There's three teams in the ring fighting. Oh, they're watching because whoever wins is going to get a shot at them. it's just common sense. But when you don't have the titles there, you're just like, okay, why are these two ladies backstage watching these six ladies fight? There was a weird double tag spot, which is just me being really pedantic and kind of nitpicky. Because they had the tag rules where only two legal people were in at the same time, so one full tag team was on the apron. They had this spot where two people shot off to the ropes. Mandy was in the ring, and I think it was Asuka in the ring. Mandy shot off, and Lana tagged in, and then Dana tagged in off of Asuka. Now, it doesn't really make much sense because they tagged at the exact same time. And I get it's meant to be like, oh, anybody can tag in. Look at that. It's a cool moment. And if it was a 4-team tag match, absolutely that could work, because then you could have a legal and illegal from the two teams and then two non-legals from two different teams, and then it works. In a 3-way, it doesn't really work because Dana is tagging in while her partner is already legal. You're tagging in on your partner's opponent while your partner's legal. It doesn't make sense. You could play it off by being like, oh, she saw Lana was going to tag in, so she tagged in. But that's not really how it looked in real time. It was just, hey, we're going to do its cool, timing thing, double tag at the same time to show how unpredictable it is. So it didn't really make sense with 3 teams, but that's just me being an asshole about a small detail that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They had the whole, they had like a gauntlet of like somebody hitting a big thing on somebody, they go out of the ring, then they get hit, then they go out of the ring, then they get hit, you know what I mean? Which ended up in a code breaker into a natural selection. And then Ric Flair's music hits, Lacey comes out, Charlotte abandons the match, tags Asuka in, leaves the ring, starts walking up the ramp. Asuka gets in distracted, turns around into a rear view by Naomi, which wins the match. I have big problems with this. Why are you having Asuka eat a pin when there are Mandy and Dana in the match? 1. You don't need Asuka herself to take the pin to then next week do the whole Asuka is pissed off at Charlotte for, fucking up the match again. She's going to be pissed off anyways because she was already pissed off going into the match, and then their chance to get those titles back was ruined by Charlotte. You don't need your women's champion taking a clean, more or less clean pinfall loss to Naomi. I have a big problem with the rear view being Naomi's finish. I think it's a shit finishing move. She did. I think Cody Rhodes calls it the disaster kick, the springboard like enziguri thing. She did that earlier in the match. Have that be her finish. That looks awesome. That looks high impact. She does it really well. Just have that be her finish. Have the rear view just be a transitional move or a signature move or something. But the rear view as a finish, big yikes from me. Charlotte didn't even seem bothered that they lost the match. You know what I mean? She was just walking up the ramp. She hears the bell ring. She hears not her or Asuka's music play, and she doesn't even look back like, oh shit, I fucked up the match. Oh shit. She's just like, doesn't care, and she's walking to the back slowly. She doesn't like run up the back to fuck up Lacey and shit. She's just like kind of walking up the bank like, God damn it, I have to deal with this shit again, blah, blah, blah. That's fine, okay? Lacey interrupting and Charlotte abandoning the match. Honestly, that's good storytelling. Quite honestly, that's fine. I don't like that they're doing Lacey and Charlotte. They don't need the Ric Flair and Charlotte shit in 2021. It's Charlotte. She's been shoved down our throats. We don't need a prove yourself gimmick. We don't need a separate from your dad gimmick. We don't need a married woman who has talked about her husband and daughter on your fucking programming before trying to be together with a goddamn 80-year-old man. We don't need any of that, quite frankly. But the whole partner abandons their partner thing, that's good storytelling. That gives you an easy lead-in on what to do next week. It's good storytelling for what they're going to do. I don't like that they're doing what they're doing. I don't think it's necessary to do what they're doing. Now talking about the Asuka and Charlotte stuff. But if you're gonna do it, that's a fine way to do it, right? So the finish itself, whatever. The people involved in the finish, primarily the person taking the fall, I have a huge problem with, because you have made Asuka look like shit over the past few weeks. She lost to Bliss, which, fair enough, non-title. Bliss turned into Fiend. You kind of have to have Alexa win, which, again, I mentioned it last week. The problem is, don't intermingle them, because one has to give and neither should have to give. So you made her lose. You made her effectively lose against Alexa before Randy was there, because if Randy didn't show up, Alexa had the match won. You have her lose at the pay-per-view. Granted, she doesn't take the fall. I mean, she still has a loss on her record. You know what I mean? I feel like I can't even remember the last win she had that was an actual win, except for at TLC. I don't know if she's won a match since TLC. They defended the tag titles on SmackDown, I guess. Yeah. That was something. It's just like, bruh, like, you're making your women's champion look like shit. She's the head of your division, and you gave her a clean loss to somebody who just returned and hasn't fucking wrestled in like a year. Like, I get the distraction, but still, like, just have Mandy or Dana take the pin. By the way, Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose both impress me more and more every week with how they're improving in the ring. Dana Brooke in like 2015, more specifically going back, I started watching wrestling again in 2013 after I didn't watch for like a year or two. I don't know if Dana was there in 2013, but Dana around like 2014 or 2015, 2016, around that time was when she was kind of introduced into NXT, and then onto the main roster. And I really didn't like Dana because I thought she was shit at that time. I thought her gimmick, her promo work, her character work, her in-ring work was shit. She has improved leaps and bounds. So I'd like to see her and Mandy maybe get a run with the tag titles down the future if they can improve. Mandy was somebody who I saw, I think she was on the first Tough Enough that they did with the women. Not the first Tough Enough, but the new rebooted Tough Enough that they did that had Velveteen Dream on and shit like that. I think she was there. My impression of her from that show, if I'm remembering things correctly, was that she wasn't that great in terms of like wanting to be a wrestler and being willing to do the shit a wrestler does. She just kind of looked to me at the time like a Divas era women's wrestler who was a model trying to get her 15 minutes before she can use it in the other industry. But she's also impressed me a lot. Granted, I'm just an idiot on the internet who gets mad at pointless shit. So my opinion doesn't matter, but she has impressed me a lot. So just wanted to take a quick moment to say that both of them are improving really, really well week to week, which is nice to see. I love being proven wrong if it betters the product. So yeah. But I really didn't like that. Don't like the rear view finish. Don't like Asuka taking the pin. If Naomi would have done her springboard thing to like Dana or Mandy kind of thing, then that's fine. But yeah, I don't like Asuka taking the pin. We had a Drew backstage interview where he there was emotion in his voice, like he was about to break down kind of at any moment, so somber emotion. The interviewer said that Sheamus didn't explain himself, which he did. Drew said he doesn't know what to say. No, you know what? I do know what to say. If you're willing to throw away a 20-year friendship, having Christmas in a diner because we had nobody else, kind of thing, over this WWE Championship, so be it. You want your match, you've got it. And then Byron on commentary again says we don't know why Sheamus did it. Sheamus literally explained it earlier in the night. He literally explained it by saying, yeah, I'm Drew's friend. That is all the explanation you need. Because Kayla, the first thing she pretty much mentioned asking her, she's like, Drew, she's like, Sheamus, you're Drew's friend. Why would you do that? Not Sheamus, you're a competitor. Why would you do that? Not Sheamus, you're a world championship person. You know what I mean? And their whole thing over the past weeks has been Keith Lee saying Sheamus is going to turn on his friend, his friend, his friend, his friend. Your friend is going to turn on you, Drew. They've been building it for months, really well, might I add. It's been a rare case of long-term, maybe not long-term, but like a few months, like medium-term booking by the WWE. It's been decent. But he explained himself. I don't get this whole, he didn't explain why he did it. Yes, he fucking did. He literally said his first words were, oh yeah, I'm always Drew's friend. That's the explanation. He's sick of being second fiddle. He wants to be back in the limelight because he thinks he should be, because he's a heel who's full of himself. That is the whole explanation. One line gave you the explanation. I get that they're probably building to a Sheamus explanation promo next week. I get that. That's why they're saying, oh, he hasn't explained himself. He hasn't explained himself. And then next week they're going to cut in and be like, Sheamus explains himself after what he did last week, because he didn't do it last week, but he did, with that line of saying, oh yeah, I'm Drew's friend. That is the explanation. But like, it's not a big thing. It's just like, why are you insulting our intelligence like that? You know what I mean? We watched the segment. He explained it. But overall, the promo's fine. I like Drew being broken up about it because they're friends. I like the calling back on real shit that happened, like those two celebrating Christmas at a diner because they were broke and had nobody to celebrate with. That fucking kind of hit me a little bit, which was because it's just like, that's, like you're going through it. So yeah, the promo was good. I have no problems with the match being made. I was seeing people on Twitter saying like, oh, Sheamus hasn't won enough matches lately to this and that, but it's okay because he attacked Sheamus, he attacked Drew and whatever. Or they were mocking people who said it's okay. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that you need to understand about pro wrestling. Everybody on Twitter who acts like it's a shoot. It's not MMA. It's not MMA, brother. You don't have to go on a whole bunch of wins to get a title match. And you know what? In MMA, you don't even need wins for a title match. Look at Cody Garbrandt. He gets everything, and he's shit now. But, it doesn't... You have a long-term storyline, over a few months. They're friends for 20 years. They're best friends. They've been by each other's side the whole time. And then the best friend turns on your friend and then he says, I want a title match, right? Why then would the babyface champion not say yes to the fight, to the match? Why would the babyface champion be there and be like, hey, you attacked me. Oh, I want to get revenge. But you know what, Sheamus? You need to win 10 matches before you can get to me. That's what a heel would do. A heel saying, oh, you have to earn it. That's a heel thing. You know what I mean? Because, hey, I'm not letting you get your hands on me unless you earn it. And by earn it, it's excruciating circumstances like, oh, you got to overcome some odds. There's no problem with a babyface champion being turned on by his friend saying, hey, give me the title match, and the babyface being like, you know what, you like broke my heart, you hurt me, you threw away our friendship, I want to beat your ass. If the way to do that is giving you a title match, I'm going to do it. That makes perfect sense. It's pro wrestling. It's not MMA. Right? I get the whole, oh, Sheamus should have had more wins so he looks stronger, but like, win-loss records aren't always needed for storytelling-based feuds and matches to happen. I think AEW did something similar with Eddie Kingston getting a match after like not winning anything, but there was just like he had like a friendship rivalry with Ambrose or Moxley or whatever, and then he got a title match. And everybody was over the moon by it. You know why? Because AEW did it. Because AEW, when they do something, you can't criticize it because they're new and they're anti-WWE. When WWE does the same or similar thing, brother, WWE can't get away with it. You know what I mean? I'm like, whatever. It works both ways. If they, like, I don't watch AEW, unfortunately. Mainly because I don't have the time, and I don't even know if they show it on TV in Canada, and if they do, I don't even know if I get the channel. But like, if they did this with Eddie Kingston and Moxley, and they had Eddie Kingston get the shot because of a personal relationship instead of win-loss record, that makes sense. And it makes sense now. It makes a lot of sense now. Like, it's just, it is what it is, man. It makes sense. A babyface champion after getting turned on by his friend of 20 years, with his friend saying he wants a title match. You would be hurt. You would want payback. You would want vengeance. You would, if the way to do that is a title match, you're going to say, yeah, fuck it, I'll give you your title match. Anyways, moving on. The promo was good. Carlito hype package, that was pretty cool. They showed some of his highlights from his earlier run. Then they had Jeff Hardy and Carlito versus Jackson Riker and Elias. No Apple, unfortunately, probably because of COVID protocols, so fuck COVID. You know what I mean? Taking away the apple from us. The match itself was good. Carlito looked maybe a little bit rusty. I don't know what I think maybe it's just because the last time he was in WWE, and therefore the last time that I had watched him wrestle was over 10 years ago, and he was leaner kind of thing, and now he's a body guy and he's jacked. He weighs 240 pounds, or at least that's his build weight. So he looked a little bit maybe slower or something, but that's just on account of him being jacked now. That's not him like losing his touch or anything like that. The dude was still doing moves really well. His moves were clean. It's just, it was weird seeing him in his new mobility state, I guess I would call it, just because he's so jacked now. He doesn't move as quickly, I guess, as he would have moved last time. But he still looked really good. He had some good offense. They did a backstabber into a swanton on Elias for the win. If you know me, you know I'm not the biggest fan of Elias. You know I think his position in the show is lower mid-card to mid-card. I don't think he should ever win a title, whether it be a mid-card title or regardless. I think he should be one of those character acts where you don't really need to win too many matches, but you come out, you sing your guitar, you get heat, which you can't do right now with no crowd. They had him booked perfectly when he was on Raw after the first brand split, and he was just coming out and doing his promos and like riling up the crowd kind of thing. Or maybe it was after 2017 when they did the Superstar Shake-Up Brother again. But he can't do that now because there's no fans, so obviously he's got to wrestle more. Why would you give him the loss? Just have Riker eat the pin. Riker isn't doing anything. You're not even like building Riker. You just kind of like slapped him in the division. He doesn't deserve to be built. Honestly, he probably should have been let go. Go let him work a minimum wage job instead of getting paid a lot of money for doing a really cool job because he's a horrible human being. But like, just like, it's why, like, I'm not even a big fan of Elias, like, but why are you giving Elias the loss? If it's a tag team match, give Riker the loss. Riker's useless. Riker has no popularity. I don't think anybody fucking likes him watching at home. Like, I don't think he's over in any regard. People know he's a piece of shit. They're not going to get behind him. Like, just have him take the pin. Like, they actually have stock in Elias. Elias is a good mid-card act if he just stays away from wrestling too many matches and winning titles and stuff. You know what I mean? And more importantly, keep him away from SmackDown, please. He's a Raw character. There are certain characters that work on one roster, on one brand, and don't work on the other. Elias is a Raw guy. Just have him be a career Raw guy. That little switch to SmackDown was a big reason why I stopped watching, by the way, just so you know. Because SmackDown got ruined for me, and I'm a SmackDown guy. So, yeah, if I don't have my safe haven of SmackDown, then I don't have anything at all. We had a promo package talking about Edge's journey from Mania in 2011, Mania 27, I guess it would have been, retiring, to coming back, to injuring, to coming back. We had an Edge backstage promo saying he was torn tonight. He's happy he won the Rumble, but there's always this black cloud over his head, which is Randy Orton. Randy could have done what Edge did, but he faked a knee injury instead, while Edge went bell to bell and won the match. He said that, all this stuff he did, it's not about love, man. And stop saying that bullshit. It's about, jealousy and shit like that. Tonight, he has to put him in the rear view so he can take back the title he never lost. Tonight this ends. Edge is a great promo. Randy's promo from earlier was good as well. It was really good. It fit his character. It fit the motivations. It fit the storyline. Perfect. Edge is a great promo too. I think a lot of up and coming wrestlers who are learning how to wrestle would do themselves a great. This is coming from somebody who's never wrestled once in his life, but just a fan. But I think that you would do yourself a great benefit to study Edge promos, because he does a great job. He does a great job of conveying and, pulling on emotion. He does a great job telling a story. He has a, really good way of delivering the promo. His promos make sense most of the time. I'm sure he had a few back in the day that didn't really make sense, but cutting a promo every week, there's bound to be one. But his promos are so good. I'm still salty that Bryan didn't win. I still think they should have given Bryan the Rumble win. But I'm getting more and more accepting of Edge. I still don't like it, the way that they did it, but it is what it is. Edge is still great. He can eat a loss to Drew or Roman, whichever way they go with it. But they had Priest and Edge backstage. They went to commercial, I think, after the Edge promo. Then they came back. Edge was walking backstage. He saw Priest and he pulled him aside. He's like, "Hey, you really impressed me. We need more guys like you." They're strapping the rocket to fucking Priest. Having Edge, who just won the Rumble, who's a Hall of Famer, on television, pull him aside and be like, "Hey, you're hot shit, brother. You're fucking dope. More of that." That's fucking great, because now casual fans even more will get on board with him. They're like, "Yo, this Edge promoted this new guy that I saw with Bad Bunny who looks fucking cool as shit. Oh fuck, he's good. Edge endorsed him." Strapping the rocket. Great. Good shit. I don't watch NXT too much. I'll catch TakeOver if I'm able to. There was a point in time where I couldn't miss a TakeOver, and then there was a point in time where I was not able to watch TakeOvers all the time. Sometimes I'm not able to. Sometimes I am able to. If I can, I watch them. But the point is, I don't really watch NXT week to week, so I haven't really been able to see much of Priest. I don't really watch the indies as much as I would like to, because I'm just not able to. I don't have the time for it. But the Rumble and tonight, or last night actually, because I'm recording this in the morning because I wasn't able to record it last night, Priest really impressed me. He won me over immediately. In the Rumble, his look is great, right? I've seen him in NXT, so I was like, "Oh, that guy looks cool." But seeing stuff, I don't know. Watching the Rumble, he came in. He had a clean attire. He has the look. He has the tattoos. He has the height. He's lean and jacked, and he's got the hair. Like, he has the look to be a top guy in the WWE. His offense is good. He's an agile big man, which helps him stand out even more. He's just got so many factors that make him unique and stand out, and he can go in the ring. He's fucking great. If they handle him right, he can go straight to the top. In maybe not next year's Rumble, maybe a year after he's the Rumble winner, maybe next year's Rumble. I would like Big E to win next year's Rumble, but we'll have to wait and see. That's a year from now. But yeah, they strapped the rocket to Priest tonight. Bad Bunny, win over Miz, Edge endorsement on camera. Incredible. Good shit. They introduced him really well. Then we had Alexa versus Nikki Cross. They started off the match with Alexa going for a strike on, Nikki going for a strike on Alexa ducking and being like, "Why are you trying to hit me? God damn, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And then Nikki kind of had an in-match promo where she's like, "What do you want from me? You were my friend. You threw that away. What do you want?" kind of thing. And then whatever. Alexa did a hopscotch into a gut kick, which I liked when Nikki was down on all fours kind of thing. Alexa started in the corner, did a hopscotch gimmick, and then kicked her right in the stomach. That looked cool. I liked that a lot. At some point in the match, Nikki shoots Alexa into the corner, Alexa music, and then boom, transforms into Goddess Alexa, tries to hug Nikki, doesn't really work. At some point, she turns back into Playground Alexa. Nikki Cross is just confused and stuff. And see, the Nikki Cross being confused and kind of mortified and shit like that, it makes sense for Nikki Cross to do it, because guess what? Nikki Cross was her best friend for a year, and then she had her friend taken away from her, and then she didn't really understand it, and now she's seeing the transformation in front of her eyes multiple times in the match, and she has an emotional connection, and she has, it makes sense for Nikki. With Asuka, it didn't make sense. With Nikki, it makes a lot of sense. So I don't have any problems with the mid-match transformations in this match. There's no fucking rocking horse in the middle of the match for whatever reason, because that was just stupid. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. Eventually, Bliss wins with the Dream DDT, the Velveteen Dream would use, where you kind of get them down for the Sister Abigail, then you hook their head, boom, into a DDT. So it looks like that might be her new finish, which would be fucking great because it's a great move. I can't believe Velveteen Dream used it as a signature. That's a finishing move if I've ever seen one. And she won the match as Playground Alexa, so no Fiend Alexa transformation tonight. As Alexa is walking up the ramp, and as I flip the page on my notebook for the final time in this episode, because no more page flipping, this is the last page of my notes. As Alexa's walking up, Randy comes down. Randy is not paying attention to Alexa. He is laser focused into the ring, and Alexa kind of gives him a death stare. And then we had Randy versus Edge to main event the show. The match started with about 15 minutes left in the show. It started at 11:15. And obviously the show goes off the air at 11. So with that much time being allotted, you knew that you were getting an actual match before whatever screwy finish that they had planned, because they weren't going to give a clean conclusion, clean finish to this match on Raw. It wasn't happening. But what we do got is a good match. Both are great wrestlers. Before the interference does happen, and the interference happens not by way of interference, but by way of distraction, actually. Randy is setting up for the RKO, pounding the ground, and then he kind of hears something. He's like, what the fuck? He stands up, turns around him, and looks in the corner, and Alexa is sitting on the top turnbuckle, and then black liquid, which I'm assuming is meant to be blood, black blood drips out of her mouth, like a profuse amount. And then he turns around into a spear. 1, 2, 3. Edge gets the win. Edge doesn't really even get time to celebrate, because Edge spears, wins, kind of crawls out of the ring, and then it goes off air as he's kind of raising his hand, recovering on the ramp. So yeah, decent Raw. The stuff I didn't like was essentially that women's tag. Wrong person lost. Should have been Mandy or Dana. And rear view I don't like as a finish. There was an issue throughout the night, however, with non-finishes. Or I don't know if I want to call it an issue, but there's nothing wrong with a distraction or a disqualification or stuff like that. But if you do a million of them on the same show, it kind of takes away from it, and you're just kind of another this, another distraction, another. Because the first match had what was the first match? Lashley had a DQ finish. Then they did a bunch of you know what I mean? There's no problem having one or two, but having a bunch of them throughout the night kind of takes away from it. But that's just a minor kind of underlying thing. They had a lot of matches that mattered this week as well. Number one contenders, title matches, clear shit, like Edge getting Randy in his hindsight kind of thing. So they had a lot of stakes, I guess you could say, in tonight's show. So that was good. So overall, decent Raw, which was very surprising. No Rhea Ripley. So I think maybe she shows up on SmackDown unless they just have her on NXT again, which would be kind of a waste. She kind of had a star-making performance at the Rumble, so I guess she's over on SmackDown to bolster their women's division, which is already full of talent. So that'd be good. Raw probably needs her more, but Charlotte's got to win that title, brother. But yeah, decent Raw. Maybe like an 8 out of 10 Raw, maybe like a 7.5, 8 out of 10 Raw. Like, it was decent. They had a lot of right decisions on wins and stuff. They had the one big wrong one for me personally, with Asuka taking the pin, like I said. Also, Elias taking the pin wasn't really needed, but it doesn't really matter. Elias isn't anything that special on the roster. So, yeah, decent Raw. Maybe like an 8 out of 10 Raw, which is very surprising. Might go back to shit next week, might not. We're on the road to WrestleMania, though. Things tend to typically pick up when you're past Rumble, because they're like, oh, okay, people actually really start watching now because the Rumble happened, and now they want to know what's going on for Mania. You know what I mean? There are the people who watch year round, and then there are the people who tune in from from Rumble to Mania and then kind of doze off, maybe catch SummerSlam, maybe catch Survivor Series, but don't pay attention kind of thing. So, maybe with the incentive of more viewers arriving for the Road to WrestleMania portion of the year, maybe they'll start booking Raw a little bit better. We'll have to wait and see. I'm actually looking forward to next week's Raw, though. So that's my Raw review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of the show down in the comments below. If you'd like to see some more of the shit I do on the channel, I do gameplay stuff primarily. You can check that out at the end cards at the end of the video. As well, you can follow my Twitter, link in the description. If you'd like to support me on the channel, you can do so over at Patreon. First link in the description. Obligatory sponsor me gimmick. Please sponsor me, Peasty. Gotta do it. Be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, because YouTube likes to zuck your boy and not put my videos in your sub boxes. So by pressing on a nice old bell icon, you will get a push notification anytime I do upload, and you'll never have to miss it. And yeah, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, share to all your friends, comment down below, all that good shit. And I will see you guys next time.